And with us, we have the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party, Phillip Alexander. That's right, the leader of PEP, the man himself. Pleasant good evening to you, my friend.
Pleasant good evening, Mikey. Pleasant good evening to all your listeners here and around the world.
Yeah. I want to go straight into the meat of things because to me it's rather mind-boggling. I mean, I just had Kenna Ali on, veteran journalist. I don't know if you heard him, but he was talking about the Petroleum refinery and the fact that it's a Nigerian company with no experience, with shady characters. Some were even suspended by two stock markets in Nigeria and in Johannesburg in South Africa, and it makes you wonder, Phillip. I mean, you know, government has to, how is it that the government believes that they can get away with these things and act so confidently that they can simply take what belongs to the people and do as they please? I mean, there's a campaign coming up. The electorate has to be smart enough to read between the lines, to read the fine print, but yet still think about it. You know, here it is, the middle class has been wiped out. I'm trying to keep my head above water. I'm doing the best that I can. It was a two-car family. We're down to one, maybe we're down to none, as the case may be. But yet still somebody is telling me that race is the issue, race is the focus, and that's how I have to go to the polls and make that major decision. Just how dangerous is that propaganda machine?
Mikey, there's so much to pack in what you just said. I want to begin with are they smart enough? It's not about smart, you know. Everybody in Trinidad now, whether they live in Goodwood Park or Bashley Hill in Lamington, everybody in Trinidad right now in survival mode. Everybody's just trying to get through the day. What you just said, there are big businessmen in this country weeping in the bank manager office trying to find a way out from what was a prospering business 10 years ago is in so much debt. They're losing everything. They're losing the house. They have to bring back the children from school abroad. And that's speaking to the middle class and the upper middle class, to the very poor. Life is about making decisions about who get to eat more now, or if to commit a crime and take a chance. This Keith Rowley government, I don't even want to call it a PNM government. The first thing this gang, Harry Mark, Keith Rowley and the bunch, Faris, Rohan, the first thing they did was successfully seize control of the PNM. Because this is not the PNM. And the Afro-Trinidadians still watching what Keith Rowley and them doing punch drunk. But I don't think they can react to Keith Rowley yet because Keith's still black. I fear for the nation when they react to Stuart Young. Because as a horse of a different color, no pun intended. So you're talking about the propaganda machine. Let's move away from the propaganda for a minute. There is no oversight in this country. There are no systems of governance, nothing. Everything is corrupted. This is the government that passed the procurement legislation and corrupted it to legitimize government corruption. I had an interview with British media this Sunday, and it was supposed to be a 10-minute interview, and we went on for about 2 hours. And all they were saying, it was like a panel of them, and all they were saying is 2 words over and over: wow, insane. Wow, insane. And Trinidadians, for all the internet and the World Wide Web and all of the information that they have in their hand, are not accessing the rest of the world to see how the rest of the world works. How power is restrained by people power. In Trinidad, there's no people power. And that is why Colin Inwood was able to laugh at us. They in the lodge and the secret society that owns and operates that gang never let Colin forget that they recorded him talking that stupidness. He thought he was outside of Trinidad and Tobago, so he could have bad talk Trinidadians, because that's how that gang sees all the Trinis, all the Afro-Trinbagonians, the Indo-Trinbagonians, the poor Syrians, the whites. That's how they see them. If you're not in their gang, you're a joke. They could laugh at you because they've manipulated the situation. They've put their people in all of the positions to legitimize their criminal wrongdoing. And the Privy Council just held up a mirror to us. When that female member of the Privy Council had Douglas Mendes stammering, when she asked him a simple question: how is it possible that an oversight agency into a government ministry is brought before us for an investigation, but the minister who she raised the fundamental questions on is not being investigated?
No, stick a pin there, Phillip. No, I do, and that's the thing about it. Do people understand what it is that you just said?
I was astonished.
No, let's be...
Did you see her? Did you see how she spoke?
Yeah, but listen, let's look at it. We're talking about 5 law lords here, 5. And you're making reference to Lady Simler. That's who you're talking about.
Lady Simler, yes, it was Simler.
Lady Simler made it quite clear. And listen to this. The proceedings that have given rise to this appeal concern an application for judicial review by the Auditor General of Trinidad and Tobago, the respondent to this appeal against the Minister of Finance. The Minister and the Cabinet, referred to together as the appellants, the judicial review challenges the Minister's recommendation accepted by the Cabinet to appoint an investigation team whose members and terms of reference were determined by him. The investigation team is to report on the conduct of the Auditor General in response to an understatement by the Ministry of Finance of revenue of $2.6 billion in the public accounts for the financial year 2023 as described below. The respondent contends that the minister's decisions are tainted by bias and breach the constitutional protection for the Auditor General in sections 116 and 136 of the Constitution. Then the front page of a daily newspaper would say, this man got the nod and people are cheering. Where are we living?
Mikey, when she said those words, I mean, I watched the cross-examination. She was asking bread and butter questions to a senior counsel who was stammering. That is his legacy, you know. No matter what he ever does again in life or what he did before. And she knows. She knew when she was asking him those questions. She knew that he knew that there were clips all around him, but he was trying to hold her and them by the hands and lead them to where the PNM, the respondent, wanted them to be. And they, the law lords, were having none of it. And she said to them, because I want you to understand, when she said that, British people have a way of speaking that makes the conversation definitive and requires no further input from you.
That's right.
I remember in Barron versus Vines, Barron v. Vines, where the law lord began, and I've said to people, since I've learned this years ago, that this is the greatest insult I have ever heard come out of a human being's mouth. When he said, it is far too obvious to need stating. That means you should already know this. And the fact that I have to point it out to you is embarrassing to us both. Trinidad needs to understand how we look to the world. We're a joke to the world. Do you think Jamaica don't see the irony in Jamaica washing Venezuelan oil for Trinidad? You think Jamaica not laughing at us? Do you think Guyana don't know in their cabinet and in their parliament and in their bars and in their rum shop and their roti shop? You think they don't know that that's the Trinidad that laughed at we for 60 years? We was the butt of jokes. Warriors are Guyanese. What is Guyanese dollars? You're talking in Guyanese. They used to laugh at we. And look at we now. In 2 years, Guyana is going to have the most robust, largest economy in the world.
That's right.
And Trinidad. And I said to the people in the interview, I said, Trinidad, besides having $3 trillion in oil, we had what was supposed to earn us $30 billion a year in pitch. We should have done about $5 billion a year in tourism. We should have done about $5 billion a year in agriculture because our cocoa and our Baruga scorpion pepper and our Trinidad sugar it saved the empire. Trinidad sugar saved the empire during World War II. And Trinidadians don't understand what this PNM destroyed. And that is what hurts me. Because I have to leave this world. Yesterday, I think I buried friends. Every day somebody else kicking the bucket. Every day they want to leave, and I wonder, do you know what you left for your children? I asked political activists who outside there talking a crocus bag of ass. I asked them, are you considering when you die and gone that you leaving your children to tread water in the same cesspool that you could fix with a vote? Let's be honest. I want to say some things now, Mikey, out of honesty.
Go ahead.
You can dislike every single member of the United National Congress and cannot escape the fact that they govern the country better between 2010 and 2015. Facts are inescapable. There is a saying, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. Kamla was putting money in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund every year for 5 years. Carl Bimbert was taking money out of the Heritage and Stabilization Fund every year for 10 years. He's spending money Kamla make. Kamla's still running the country. You understand that? Does Trinidad understand that? Kamla is still running Trinidad and Tobago. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, the work of the People's Partnership between 2010 and 2015 is paying URP and CPEP and HTC and Unicode salaries. Are they aware? And that the United National Congress, and I'm saying it again, somebody said on one of my posts today, this is about politics, this is not Valentine's, find your love elsewhere. I could not be more. I tell people, Donald Trump, you don't have to like him, you don't have to love him, you don't even have to tolerate him. What you have to do is respect the fact that the man know what he's doing. And when he was in government, the country was better, the country gonna be better. Stop looking for friends and lovers in the parliament. Look for public servants to make your life better. Home ownership was up. Homelessness was down. Crime was down. When Kamla Prasad Bisesa was the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, for the first time in history, little children from every community in the 4 corners of this country could have played football in the night on their recreation grounds. And while that may sound like nothing, that is the seeds of community that ends crime. We can't keep talking about crushing them like cockroaches if we give them nothing else. The country is broken because of a failure to govern. Whether it is accidental or deliberate matters not, because to the victims, all of us, everybody who's lost their business, who's lost their jobs, who's lost their lives, people have died in this country because of maladministration. People have died in this country because of failure to secure the borders and stop the 37,000 illegal guns that killing people in this country. When you see all them videos, all them little children fighting in school, that is maladministration. That is failure to manage the social development matrix to make sure that communities are thriving and prospering. Children come into school seething, want to fight one another, want to fight the teacher. Where that come from? This is Trinidad and Tobago. We're supposed to be biblical even. We are hell. This is Dante's 7 levels of hell. There is nothing in Trinidad that works. No part of Trinidad that good. I watched a bunch of rich Syrians sit down on a table a couple of days ago eating and clinking glasses, and then one dead in an accident, and that accident was avoidable. And I'm wondering if it escaped the people, the rich and the poor, how truly fixable, how easily fixable this country is. That all we need to do is get rid of this greedy, corrupt, nasty gang that are ruining 1.4 million lives.
Yeah, but Philip, again, it brings us right back to the key question. I mean, the facts that we know it, the facts that we talk about, the facts that people live on a daily basis is somehow circumvented by the propaganda. How is the propaganda allowed to infiltrate these facts and give a different narrative?
Money. Money. I talked to an activist. She ran away from Trinidad. Her little business, she used to sell clothes in Caroni.
Yeah.
High-end clothes in Caroni. And she ran away from Trinidad. She couldn't get foreign exchange. Her family owned a chain of restaurants. Doors closed down. Her brother ran away from the country. She ran away from the country. She grabbed her family and leave when bandits came into her yard. After her business closed down and bandits came into her yard, high-end community where big shot lawyers and ministers living in Chaguanas, bandits was in her yard. She grabbed her family next day and they run out of Trinidad and Tobago. They leave things behind. Just get away from here, PNM. Get away from the consequences of maladministration. You know that woman where she is now, living her first world life, turn around and bad talking Kamala, when she was prospering under Kamala. Mikey, this is worse than propaganda. This is mental cancer. This is people unable to separate fact from fiction, truth from lies. This is people that want willingly snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. You could look and see for yourself that a certain group of people were more able to provide me with the goods and services that I need to have a life, and you will let personalities and ego get in the way of that? You think I care how they look? You really tell me that people interested in voting for Paris because he spent his ministerial days in the gym and the spa? That's who we are. That's who we are. There's another one, he dying. He's activist, he dying, he know he dying. He on his way out. He leaving his children to tread water in the cesspool. And all I'm asking him is, you may not like them, they may not be your first choice, but let them be your only choice, because the only other choice has destroyed your life. People are lying down in the hospital and dying from pneumonia in Trinidad. There's a crisis of pneumonia. The media won't cover it because the media is owned by the same groups that supply the public health services with medical supplies. There is an incestuous relationship between government and finances and all state services and all the goods that the people rely on to make a life. And the average person walks around believing that things are how they are because somebody is looking out for us. But nobody is. They're only looking out for themselves. And it is only when they reach in a jam, they find a number, they find a phone, they call me, or WhatsApp me, or message me. I get a number from my counselor, I get a number from my neighbor, I get a number from a friend, because they say you're going to help me. And everybody will go out and barbecue and curry because the public health that we spent $100 billion in the past 10 years can't take care of nobody. Our education system is creating functional illiterates. That's what it's creating, functionally illiterate people. We have to dumb down exams in Trinidad and Tobago to give people a piece of paper, but they can't get on a plane and go to America. They're tinkering with what's going on in UWI. UWI will lose its certification over this nonsense just now. We have lowered the standards of everything proper in this country to hide from the reality that Keith Rowley and his band of never-do-wells, that band of malcontents, are the reason Trinidad is hell for everybody right now.
So true, my friend. So true. Philip, I want to thank you so much for linking with us here this evening. Any closing comments? Go right ahead.
Mikey, I want to thank you for having me as usual, and I want to call on Trinbagonians, please. Do as I did. This is not about you, and it is not about me. It is about Trinidad. If we lift all, then there'll be nobody to commit crime. There'll be nobody to jump your wall and kick down your door and interfere with your guilt, Sharon. If everybody have a life and a chance at a life, if everybody have hope and opportunity, the country will work. The majority of countries in the world that work, that's how they work. I believe in Kamala Prasad, Sir. I believe that she wants what is best for the country. I believe she wants a second chance to show that she knows how to run Trinidad and Tobago. And I think that if we give her a chance, coming on the heels of what she did between 2010 and 2015 when she was still a neophyte, when she was still brand new to the governing thing, give her the chance now and let her show all of us why she is going to probably be recorded in our history as the best prime minister we've ever had. We have a chance to turn this corner and rescue ourselves before it is too late. This PNM that has signed us over to the WEF, I know there are plenty of people drunk and whining tonight and just thinking about eating the next box of KFC. So they're not studying what the World Economic Forum means to their children, the enslavement, economic enslavement that it means. But I need them to dig deep and to find out. The World Health Organization has been given authority over Trinidad and Tobago law enforcement that they can land here with their own army and their own soldiers and hold on to Trinbagonians and inject them with whatever they want to inject you with, because I knew Fauci says so. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley has sold us, and we need to rescue ourselves. We need to put a government in office that is willing to partner with the strong in the world to rid ourselves of all of these demons hanging over us. And the only person that commands the numbers to do that is Kamala Prasad.
Thank you so much again, Philip. Keep up the good work. We'll be checking in with you periodically. All the best, my friend.